Hi, I'm Dr. Jonice Webb, clinical psychologist and author of Running on Empty. What kind of parents would emotionally neglect their children? I get asked this question often, and usually people are surprised by my answer. And I'm going to tell it to you in just a minute, but first I want to spend 1 minute to talk about a very important related topic to do with parents, which is blame and guilt. The concept of childhood emotional neglect, or CEN, is in most cases not about blaming the parents. We know that the huge majority of parents love and care for their children and do their very best. But CEN is invisible, and it passes unseen and unknown from one generation to another, almost like through osmosis. So CEN is actually not about guilt and blame. It's more about understanding what went wrong for you and why and how to fix it so that you don't pass the torch down to your own children. Now let's get back to the types of parents who emotionally neglect their children. There are 3 categories. Category 1 are the selfish and the self-involved parents. Category 2 parents are parents who are struggling, either financially or medically or emotionally, say with loss, with depression, with a special needs family member or child, are some examples. Category 3 are people who are neither selfish nor struggling. These are people who truly care for their children and want the best for them, but who were emotionally neglected themselves. I'll explain how that works in just a minute. But first, let's talk about Category 1 parents. These are parents who put their own needs first, who have difficulty seeing their child as a separate person with his own personality and his own feelings and his own needs. This parent expects to be gratified by the child rather than the other way around. If you grow up with a parent like this, it's very important to stop making excuses for them. This is the one category of parent where responsibility and blame is actually properly placed upon them. So you should stop blaming yourself, blaming your struggles on yourself, and put the blame where it belongs. Category 2 parents are very different from Category 1. These parents typically have their children's best interests in mind and genuinely want what's best for them, but their energy is taken up by some other life struggle which trumps the child's needs. For example, a single mother who works 2 jobs and is seldom home, or a divorced father who is grieving the loss of his marriage and is struggling, or parents who have a child with special needs who takes their full resources, leaving the well child to go it alone. If you grew up with parents like this, chances are you already recognize that your parents did the best they could for you, and that's really good. But it's also very important to recognize that you didn't get what you needed from them. The fact that they had good intentions doesn't make it any less painful. So stop blaming yourself for the things you lack now. It's not your parents' fault, but it's not your fault either. Instead, put your energy into giving yourself what you didn't receive in childhood. Now, the third category of parents is, I think, the largest group and the most invisible group. These parents are difficult to spot since they appear to give their children everything, love and care and also material comfort, yet they manage to fail their child in a deeply personal, fundamental way. Here's how emotional neglect works. Picture your mother growing up in a household in which her emotional needs are not responded to enough. She will grow up with some blind spot to emotion. When she's raising you, she'll be blind to your emotion. Inadvertently, she'll raise you to have the same blind spot. And so on and so on and so on. Emotional neglect travels through generations unnoticed and unchecked. If your parents fall into this category, it's important to understand that all the things your parents gave you do not cancel out the impact of what they were not able to give you. There may be no one to blame, certainly not you, but there is something that you can do. Work on your own CEN so that you not only can be happier in your own life, but so that you also don't pass it down to your own children. The buck stops with you. To start healing from CEN, take a look at my website, emotionalneglect.com. Also, in my book, Running on Empty, Overcome Your Childhood Emotional Neglect, I have 4 chapters dedicated to walking you through the process of giving yourself what you never got. Thanks for watching.